Aries. Aries symbol opening up to others somehow invites more opportunities into your life right now, dear Aries. You might discover how to control a part of yourself that previously controlled you, boosting your confidence. You can also be experiencing deeper desires and a need for a stronger connection with someone special or an in-depth project. As the day advances, you could feel torn between attention to your chores and your social life or larger goals. If you find ways to combine these things or cut back on both so that you don't overdo either one, you're in a better place. You might learn about your priorities today. Taurus. Taurus symbol partnerships and close relationships can be most pleasant and prosperous today, dear Taurus, if a little complicated. It's not a time when you are inclined to want to go it alone, and in fact, others' input can be constructive. There is more generosity or a spirit of goodwill in your interactions that can be especially pleasing. As the day advances, a Sun-Jupiter transit comes into influence. This influence can produce a feeling of being pulled in different directions. You can feel drawn toward both work and play, and the key might be to either combine them or divide your time in a balanced way. You won't get the chance to enjoy either if you feel overwhelmed, so look for ways to simplify. The moon in your spirit sector all day encourages you to express yourself. Gemini. Gemini symbol today's energies are strong for letting go so that you can more fully appreciate the good in your life, dear Gemini. You can be feeling exceptionally generous now. Attracting love or admirers is very likely, and this can involve your work or the services you provide. It's a fine time to do a little something extra for others or to work through any differences you may have had on the job or with people with whom you share daily activities. As the day advances, you can feel a bit divided. Jupiter's transit of your adventure sector encourages you to seek activities and interests that help you grow and improve. Generally, your approach to life is more spontaneous and open, and you value your freedom to branch out and explore new things. However, the Sun is currently turning your attention to home life and the enjoyment of familiar settings and situations. The dilemma of both seeking comfort and wanting to move out of your comfort zone can be prominent later today. Finding a balance between comfort and escape can be tricky but not impossible now. Cancer. Cancer symbol conditions and perhaps people in your life seem to support your efforts today, dear Cancer, or at least allow you the pleasure of doing what you want to do without guilt or distraction. It can also be a beautiful time for coming to fair agreements and cooperation. Your spirit is generous now, and your desire to be the best you can be is in full bloom. Look for ways to relieve stress. Later today, an awkward angle between the Sun and Jupiter comes into play, producing on the fence energy. If you've been scattering your energies or keeping to yourself too much, you'll feel that you're missing out. It may be best to tone things down and try your best to divide your time more efficiently. Ideally, any dilemma encountered now helps you get closer to understanding what you actually want or need. Leo. Today's energies are strong for a general spirit of cooperation, dear Leo. Interactions are mutually beneficial and supportive. It's easy to connect with people who share similar interests or ideas. Seeing both sides of a story and giving others the benefit of the doubt are at the heart of this. Later today, the Sun heads into an awkward angle to Jupiter, however. It reminds you that good principles, common sense, and fairness should be at the heart of your plans, as these are qualities that make you feel the best about yourself. Impulsiveness with your money is possible now, and this may not sit well in a relationship. Or, whether to attend to business matters or relationships can be a question. Adjustments may be necessary if you sense that there's something a little off. Before rushing forward, attend to your priorities. Virgo. Opportunities are abundant through friends or networking activities today, dear Virgo. You could connect with someone who shares an interest or with whom you feel comfortable communicating your special interests and ideas. Negotiating or mediating, or leading and guiding others on a particular subject, can be in focus. However, if you have too much to do these days, you'll feel it as the day advances. Determine your priorities so that you can focus on them until you have more wiggle room or you feel stronger. Jupiter's transit brings you more enjoyment of work and service and also a bigger workload, but with the Sun in your sign these days, you're seeking some independence and room for spontaneity. For now, there can be some indecision. Libra. Someone may be having an incredible influence on your personal awareness today, dear Libra, and you might also be helping others to discover important things about themselves. More trust and faith may develop through your interactions now, and it feels good. Later today, taking a step back from a problem is perhaps the better strategy. You might feel a dip in motivation and energy levels as the Sun and Jupiter head toward a quincunx aspect. However, you might learn a bit about your priorities through the dilemmas of the day. Solutions to problems are more likely to arrive if you aren't obsessing over them. Scorpio. Today is excellent for bonding with others, dear Scorpio, as well as personal enjoyment. You're coming across nicely, and others are bringing out the very best in you. If a relationship needs some extra care, this can be a good time for paying the attention it deserves. As the day advances, indecision may set in. Whether to stick with the familiar or experiment can be a dilemma, but it can gently force a good think session about your priorities. It may be best not to think too far ahead for the time being, aim for one step at a time if you're feeling overwhelmed by choices. Jupiter's transit makes it very easy for you to enjoy life at home or sticking with familiar places, people, and situations. However, the Sun is in your social sector these days, encouraging you to experiment, reach out beyond your usual boundaries, and connect with friends or groups. Today, both drives are strong, leaving you sitting on the fence. The Moon spends the day in your communications sector, adding to the busy theme. Sagittarius. Today, feel-good energy is with you, dear Sagittarius. You might feel that you can accomplish more of what you want to do, rising above some of the concerns recently bogging you down. Connecting with someone from your past is possible. Later today, decisions may be hard to come by. While you can fall a little flat if you feel torn or undecided, you might also get a better sense of your priorities through your ruminations. The Sun is heading into an awkward aspect with Jupiter, and career matters or responsibilities can conflict with your attention to daily affairs. Or, you may want to do it all when you just don't have the time to do so. A compromise seems appropriate now. Capricorn. You could find more value in the connections you make today, dear Capricorn, and this radiates in happy ways in whatever you're doing now. It can be a good day to think through matters that have weighed heavily on your mind or heart and reach a meaningful conclusion. Warmth and grace can benefit you with a friend. As the day advances, you might receive competing messages. While you can feel a little drained and find it difficult to know where to begin, the thinking you do now may get you closer to understanding your real priorities. Simplifying seems best now, at least until your energy returns. The moon spends the day in your sign, and emotions heighten. There can be an urgency felt now when it comes to fulfilling your emotional needs, but taming this a little can go a long way towards greater happiness today. Aquarius. Business endeavors are especially favored, dear Aquarius, and work that you've done behind the scenes can come in handy. There's good energy with you for emotional connections and the work that goes into making relationships healthy and satisfying. Your capacity for achievement is great, and you could find that circumstances seem to be lining up in such a way that you're able to perform at your peak. It's a good time to examine your goals and ideas and decide which ones are most attainable or reasonable. There can be a fortunate encounter now. As the day advances, a Sun-Jupiter aspect coming into play points to some discontent. You may feel uncertain about your next step. You may want independence on the one hand and intimacy on the other, and signals are mixed. Energy and motivation levels are subject to dips until you sort out how to combine these drives or satisfy them in different ways. Pisces. Fortunate connections are possible today, dear Pisces, and you're feeling strongly optimistic. You could be feeling a calling towards a particular subject now, and you may be in the position of go-between. It's a pleasant and opportunity-filled time for learning, publishing, expanding a project, or turning around an area of your life that needs some special attention. Aim to be confident and willing to extend yourself. However, watch for excess. As the day advances, a Sun-Jupiter transit comes into play, pushing two very different energies. Part of you wants to enjoy your downtime, and another part wants some company or input. You can feel quite divided between needing privacy and sharing with others. Look for a way to compromise for best results.